Okay, I'm back. My phone died, so am I gonna delete this other video? I don't really know. I don't really think I am, but let's just tap in from here. I started the other video by telling everyone thank you who tapped in with me after the hello video, because I think that was a very emotional day for me, and I think I was coming here because I felt like, okay, this is a supportive place, and then kind of getting the energy from one of the people who tapped in to the live just kind of was like, no, I can't even, this is not what I came here for. And I was also sharing about the new 10 years that's about to happen, and just my desire to get home. So basically, with all of the healing and things that I've been doing this year, I recently realized that, like, we're about to start a new 10 years. And in the process of that, I've basically been going back into 2012. I actually went through Facebook because that's where I have had a record of like things that I, put online at that time. And I just kind of was seeing like where my headspace was at. And then I was going through my Google Photos as well to see what was happening during that time. And just kind of using that as like a basis to see, okay, where was I at? Where am I at now? Where do I want to go moving forward? And yeah, I can't lie, this week it's been blessings in disguise, but still it's been a lot going on. I don't even know if I can even say that we'll be able to catch up and fully update y'all on everything that's been going on, because it's a lot. However, I'm moving forward, so don't worry. But I do need help because, like I said in the other video, I'm ready to go home. And with this realization that I'm about to start we're not even just me, we're all starting a new decade. For me, I'm going off of when my birthday starts. So that's when my birthday starts in April. So that's when my new 10 years is starting. So this whole time I'm just preparing and getting things clear about what I desire. And this blessing in disguise that took place this week was really, it felt like a low moment. It felt like a rock bottom moment, but I don't think it fully was, but that's just how it felt in that moment. And I have to thank my support system, especially my boo Tammy, because she really came through for me. And so, yeah, after that, it's been like a couple of days since that moment happened. And I've just been processing, okay, what's the next best step? Is the option for me to stay in Thailand, go to Vietnam, do some other things. But I tapped in with my heart twice. And in both of those moments of tapping in with my heart, I just got really clear that I'm ready to be with my family. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to be around my family that loves me and supports me. And it's some things there that I feel like need to be healed. Like, I remember when I left America 5 years ago. And crazy thing, y'all, when I was looking at Facebook from 2012, I had a post that I wrote saying I was going to be abroad for 5 years. And that was like way before I left, because I didn't leave the country for this extended period until like 2015. So I just remember where my head was at. Like, I was like, I'm tired of America. I'm tired of being treated like shit. I'm tired of, being around people who don't care about me. I'm leaving this place and I'm never coming back. Like, I'm leaving this town. Okay. And now it's like, oh, this whole year has been just so deep, like deep hit, like deep. When I tell you, it's been, for me, it's been a, mm, I can't even really explain it to you. It's like the process of facing your demons, the process of facing your shadow side and working through that and getting to the other side. And now I feel differently about what I consider home. I feel differently about what I consider family. I feel differently about what I consider a sister, what I consider a friend, and how I want to move forward. And now that I'm at this moment, I'm like, okay, I've taken a moment to kind of process from what was taking place a couple of days ago. And I know clearly that I'm ready to go home. I know that that's not going to be the end of my travels, but I feel like I want to start my new decade with my family. So, hi, Lisa. Hey, girl. Wow. Hey, Courtney. Glad to see you back on YouTube. Girl, I ain't fully back yet. I'm not fully back yet. Just a little tap in. So, and really, yeah, just a little tap in. So, yeah, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. And I basically have linked my PayPal in the description because I don't have enough to get home. I've been in Thailand since before the lockdowns. And looking at the flights right now, the flights are like $800. Plus, just, I don't know if I'm going to have to quarantine. I don't know. Like, I sent my aunt a message to kind of like, go deeper with her and get clear about what this process is going to look like if I come there. But I haven't had a moment to talk with her yet. So I don't know if anybody's in Texas. If you can message me and let me know, that would be great too. Because I'm not sure if I'm going to have, I feel like I am though, because I do have a lot of older family. But I've been quarantining for the most part here. Like we've had lockdowns here, but I feel like things have been different here, are safer here in Thailand than it looks like in America. I don't really know because I haven't been there, so y'all know what's been going on. But I feel like Thailand did a really good job, and the people who live here have done a really good job of like wearing the mask and staying home. They did have a period where they locked down all of Thailand, and everybody for the most part followed those instructions. So cases basically were really, really low. So I don't know if I'll have to quarantine if I'm coming from a place where the what would it be called? If I'm coming from a country that did a good job under the pandemic, will I have to quarantine? I don't know. So there's also the possible expense of having to quarantine. So yeah, Lisa said, how soon are you trying to go home? Girl, like next week. Next week I'm ready to go. I feel like I don't want to like say that we're going to have a moment where I tell you everything that's been popping off, because I really don't know. I just know for sure. Only thing that I know for sure right now is that I'm transforming. I'm not the same. And everything that has been presented here is going to look very different when I do officially come back to I almost said the States, but when I really meant to say when I officially come back to virtual spaces, because I just have different gifts to share, different messages to share. I'm in a whole different place. So yeah, ideally I want to go home on the 29th. So that's like maybe 4 days. That's like in 4 days. But sooner than later, honestly, sooner than later. Uh, yeah, sooner than later. I feel like Thailand has given me a bunch of gifts this go around and a bunch of lessons this go around. And I'm like, okay, I got it. Good. It's time to go. And I kind of feel like it's not the end of my time in Asia, but I feel like I've spent a good amount of time here. So I don't think I need any more lessons here. I'm just like, for now, I'm good. And I just want to be wrapped up with my aunties, you know. So, and then some like, oh yeah, one thing for sure, my grandpa passed away like a couple of weeks ago, and I get like really emotional when I talk about this because I have been calling him. I saw him. I've been home to visit twice in the 5 years that I've been abroad. And every time I went home, I made sure I went to visit him, and I'm so grateful that I did. Don't feel sad for me because I'm not sad. It's just some emotions come up because of how he left. But I felt his energy the night that I found out, and it was just a calmness. So, but it feels emotional because it's like, when I have been getting messages. I have been getting messages from Spirit about death, and Spirit have been telling me to reach out to someone in my family that name start with an S, and I thought it was my grandpa or my mother, but I ultimately just started reaching out to my grandpa, and I couldn't get a hold of him. I was like calling him, and then that moment when you're like, something must be wrong. Like, why is he not answering my call? Because that's so unlike my grandpa. And I started kind of like trying to do some investigative work, like calling my sister, calling my grandma, like, y'all heard, like, what's going on with grandpa? You heard anything? And then I found out, like, in a very quick period, I found out that somebody had put him in I keep wanting to call it a foster home, but it is not a foster home. Well, technically, foster homes for older people are retirement homes. So basically, he was in a retirement home, and none of us knew. And a lot of my siblings have been reaching out to him, and we weren't able to get a hold of him. So we still, like, at this moment, I still don't know the backstory of why he really fully the truth of why he was there, who put him there, why they didn't tell us. I don't know. But I think it was just super emotional for me at the moment when I found out, because it was like, that moment when you've been trying to call somebody, and then you find out that they're passed on. But at the same time, I feel like he lived a good life. He was like 92 when he passed away. And I did find out that he wasn't completely alone. So I just feel like when my grandpa is ready, we'll have our own conversation through the spirit realm. So, yeah. I have a lot of older members of my family that I guess I'm at this place now where I'm like, I want to spend some time with them, especially the ones who, like some of my aunts who were supportive of me when I was a child, but kind of got disconnected from me just because of how I went through CPS, and have been waiting for my return. And we've been talking and getting reconnected, and it's just so much. Oh, I can't even begin to express it all. But yeah, I'm just at that place where I'm like, okay, I'm really clear that what I was meant to learn here, I've learned. What I was meant to do here, I've done. and that I'm ready to go home. So I'm not going to stay long because my phone died from the first video I tried to do, and this one, girl, my computer's on 5%. So again, I put my PayPal details in the description. I know it's the holiday season. I know we also have been in a lockdown for a long period of time, so please don't feel bad if you're not able to help me get home. Please don't overextend yourself if you're not able to. You like I don't. I've been another lesson I've been learning this year is do not overextend myself at the expense of myself. So I want to share that message with y'all as well. So if you are able to help, then by all means, thank you. I appreciate it. But if you're not, honey, just by you sending me good vibes, praying for me is appreciated. Okay? And I'm going to go now. So, because literally we're on 4. Well, how about we just let it ride until my computer dies? Or maybe until we get to 1%. So if y'all have something y'all want to say, because I know we haven't talked for a very long time. Like, I feel like we had a few conversations right before the lockdowns happened. And then when the lockdowns happened, y'all, I went into deep ass hermit mode. Like, it was hard for me to even get out the bed. It was like, okay, Courtney, you dealing with like a lot of emotions, and it was like facing all of these emotions, facing all of this darkness, and pulling myself out of that, you know. I'm in Thailand right now. I'm in Bangkok, and home for me is Houston, Texas. No, Lisa, I'm not in school right now. I took a little break. So when the lockdowns happened, if I'm being really real, I decided during the lockdowns that I needed a break because I was like, yo, I'm not really progressing in a way that I really want to, where I'm feeling like I'm being successful in the courses that I'm taking. So I was just like, with all the emotions that I'm feeling and all the uncertainty of everything that's happening, it just didn't make sense for me to continue to do something that didn't really feel good to me at that moment. So I just kind of was like, let's take a break and let's revisit it after we have kind of, taken this break. And honestly, I looked this morning because I'm going to be getting back into school. I just took a break because I'm like, the programs that I was in mass communication at first. I was doing my master's in mass communication at first. And then I realized because I went through like maybe 2 different programs, because the first one I was like, this is a completely different side of communication than I really desire. And then the second one, like, it just wasn't going through the courses. I was failing and it wasn't working. And I was like, okay, maybe this is not the course for me. And then I changed the course to a TESOL because I have an English teaching background, and I kind of thought like, at the very least, if I have a master's in a TESOL, I can get paid even more in teaching. I can fall back on that if I want to at any point, because they're always looking for English teachers or whatever. And I started that program, and it just wasn't working for me either. I think I was I feel like maybe I was depressed and I didn't really notice. And then the lockdowns happened and it really put me in a moment where I just went deep. I went deep to the depths and darkness of my soul. And it was hella emotional. Oh, so we're on 2%, y'all. So I'm gonna go soon. Yeah, so Rosalind's saying, how much do I need to go to Houston, Texas? The flights are looking like 8:00. I checked them yesterday. They were 8:08 to get to the Austin area, which I'm thinking from there I could just take a bus, like a Greyhound or something. Not a Greyhound. It's a flex bus that I know is like super cheap to get from there to Houston. And then I also looked at accommodations just in case, because I don't know. Somebody who's in Texas or in the States, let me know if I'm gonna have to quarantine. I don't know. I need to do some more research about that. But with the possibility of quarantining for 2 weeks outside of my family's home would be like $400. That's the cheapest one that I saw. It was, well, actually, I think it was $420 at this kind of like little hotel, not too far. Well, kind of like a little motel, but you know, it will work. So that's where I'm at. And we're on 1% now. So I'm going to go because I think I need to fully end this before so it can save. So thank you for holding space with me. Thank you in advance for anything you're able to help me with. And I will tap in with y'all as soon as I can. I hope the holidays are amazing for you. And I love y'all all. Thank you. See you later. Bye, y'all.